afternoon. Welcome to RMU Live. Today is Friday, March 15th, 2019. I'm Andrew Ostrowski.
And I'm Sonu Babu. Here's what's happening now.
Breaking news. President Donald Trump on Friday expressed his condolences to the people of New Zealand following mass shootings at two mosques in Christchurch. 49 people are dead. The country's prime minister calls it one of New Zealand's darkest days. John Lornick has more.
New Zealand's Prime Minister calling it one of the darkest days in her country's history.
Clearly what has happened here is an extraordinary and unprecedented act of violence.
Dozens of deaths after shootings at two mosques Friday afternoon local time.
I never could believe that something like this would ever happen in the city of Christchurch. But actually I would never believe that this would ever happen in New Zealand.
One witness said he was inside the mosque when the shooting began and that he heard the gunman continuously shooting for 10 to 15 minutes. A journalist also heard the shots.
What I did was basically waiting for that and praying to God, oh God, please, let this guy run out of bullets.
The injured were taken to the hospital for medical treatment.
The injuries ranging from gunshot wounds to the head and face and arms, legs and torso, and soft tissue injuries.
Officials in U.S. cities, including Los Angeles, Minneapolis, and New York, say they will be adding extra security around mosques out of abundance of caution. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
New Zealand police say one man in his 20s has been charged with murder. 3 other people are in custody, but it's unclear if they were involved in the shooting. France is joining countries including the UK and the US in confirming that mosques and places of worship will see increased security on Friday. Police say a naked man attacked and robbed a woman in Lower Burrell on Wednesday night. 48-year-old Robert E. Brown accused the woman of an improper action from his childhood and took her sweatshirt, then later ran into the front door of a home and surrendered peacefully. He said he was using different drugs.
And a fight in downtown Pittsburgh ended in a stabbing. A man was stabbed in the face near a parking lot on Thursday around 4:20 p.m. at 9th Street and Penn Avenue. The victim will not face any complications after the injury, and the attacker is facing aggravated assault charges. And a man's body was found in a Carrick home Thursday morning. Police were contacted after the man stopped showing up to work. Homicide detectives were on the scene in the 2300 block of Spokane Avenue, and police are still investigating the cause of death.
An accident involving an Aliquippa police cruiser left one of the officers in the cruiser injured. The driver, Officer Joshua Gonzalez, was not injured, but Officer John Lutton was taken to the Beaver Medical Center for a sprain and a bruised hand. The driver of the other vehicle left without injury.
And a former St. Bernard student filed a lawsuit against the school, the Roman Catholic Diocese, and an unidentified man over sexual assault allegations. The man was lured into an empty classroom and assaulted by an unidentified teacher. The assault happened sometime from preschool to 8th grade, and the defendants have not publicly responded to the accusations.
Dr. Daniel Castagna, superintendent of West Mifflin School District, was fired on Wednesday. The school board voted 6-3 in favor of Castagna's termination. Castagna plans to file a federal lawsuit against the school district and the board members who wanted him gone. A woman who was fatally shot by police in Greensburg on Wednesday was armed during the shooting. Nina Adams was allegedly shooting a gun in the street when officers arrived and told Adams to come outside. One officer unsuccessfully disabled her, which led to the shooting by another officer. 2 officers are on leave during the investigation of the shooting.
After the Art Institute closed on Friday, Robert Morris is holding an open house for the former students on the 21st. After the plan to sell the bankrupt school failed, it left 230 people attending classes and over 1,000 people taking online classes without a school. The open house will be held from noon to 2 p.m. in the Heritage Room of Nicholson.
Coming up after the break, the latest about the college admissions scandal.
And the parents of the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting may finally get some closure. Stay tuned.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey. Ready for the...
Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
University of Southern California's university spokesman, Gary Polikovic, said that all applicants that are connected to the admissions cheating scheme will be denied admission. This is being announced after a scandal involving wealth being traded for admission to some of the nation's top schools. The U.S. Attorney in Massachusetts, Andrew Lelling, had this to say.
We're not talking about donating a building so that a school's more likely to take your son or daughter. We're talking about deception and fraud, fake test scores, fake athletic credentials, fake photographs, bribed college officials.
A house of 50 people are now accused of cheating on admission tests in 6 states.
The Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar visits the White House on Thursday discussing Ireland's position opposing Brexit. Trump criticizes Theresa May's decision to salvage a Brexit deal. Varadkar's trip to Washington included a luncheon in the U.S. Capitol with the President, Vice President, House Speakers, and members of Congress. Varadkar also spoke about his sexual orientation at the Naval Observatory, being the first openly gay leader in Ireland.
30 years ago, Tim Berners-Lee came up with the idea of the World Wide Web. Now on Monday, he will be attending an event to talk about the future for it. He hopes the web will be used for good and things such as harassment and hacking will become a thing of the past.
A judge ruled Thursday in favor of Sandy Hook victims. Connecticut's highest court ruled that gun maker Remington can be sued over how it marketed the AR-15 rifle for civilian use. The gun was used in the 2012 mass shooting that left 26 people, mostly children, dead. Thursday's ruling overturns the court's earlier dismissal of a case after a lower court said gun makers have immunity from liability. Justices issued a 4-3 decision in favor of 10 Sandy Hook families for the lawsuit to go back to Bridgeport Superior Court. The families released a statement saying that they are, quote, grateful that our state's Supreme Court has rejected the gun industry's bid for complete immunity, not only from the consequences of their reckless conduct, but also from truth-seeking discovery process.
The Manhattan's District Attorney's Office has allotted $38 million to law enforcement jurisdictions across the country, with the goal of getting the national backlog of untested rape kits processed. They call it the Sexual Assault Kit Backlog Elimination Grant Program, and it's getting results in the form of convictions. James Ford has more.
He got prosecuted last year, and so he's been in there for a year now, but he got 7 years.
Tracy Rios of Arizona talks about action taken by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office that led to an arrest in her rape case 15 years after the crime. That's how long in her case that the rape kit, tools that find and store an assailant's DNA, sat in a warehouse. What brought it out and brought her attacker to justice? You're looking at the answer.
By not testing these rape kits, what you are saying to the victims is what happened to you doesn't matter.
Manhattan DA Cy Vance decided to use $38 million seized in bank fraud cases, get the federal government to match it, and then some. They got 55,000 backlogged kits tested, leading to 186 arrests, 165 people prosecuted, and 64 convictions.
It helps move my story and see the truth in it.
Maisha Sudbeck's attacker, Nathan Loeb, is one of those convictions. Her rape kit had sat idle for 5 years.
And to know that I could catch him and do my part and not be silent anymore was huge.
The changes are big, but there's more work to do.
I'm not a survivor. I'm a hero. I caught him.
Tawana James still bears scars of where her accused sex attacker slashed her fingers 2 decades ago. She recently got him arrested, but her case underscores how much work still has to be done, even while so much has been done.
We have solved New York cases with kits tested from Florida, Michigan, North Carolina, Texas, Pennsylvania, and Virginia.
With these cases finally coming to an end, victims may finally find some closure.
And the wrong body was displayed at a Florida funeral home. Family members of Norma Newman found the wrong body lying in the casket at a Roy Mitzel and Kurtz funeral home. According to family members, they noticed something strange when the body was missing a mole that would have been on Newman's face. Another family believes the body they buried this month, could be Newman's. The funeral home is still investigating.
Coming up, Vermont Town has a new mayor.
And the Senate vetoes President Trump's national emergency. Stay tuned for more.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfies.
Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back. The Senate overturns President Trump's decision to declare a national emergency over the border wall. This 51-49 vote was approved by the House, which set up the first veto of the presidency. But this was not a big enough margin to override. This was the first time Congress blocked a presidential emergency declaration. Republican senators were concerned over the $3.6 billion for military construction projects going to the wall. Trump plans to veto Congress's decision. The House vote to override the upcoming veto is expected on March 26th. And a Tennessee man was injured early morning when a falling tree crashed into a house. 5 people were home at the time: a mother, her 2 children, their grandmother, and the grandmother's boyfriend. The boyfriend is the man who was hurt. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to make a full recovery. The damage comes after the family lost everything in a house fire 3 years ago. That was a different house, and this is the one they have been renting.
Francesco Calli, alleged leader of the Gambino crime family, was shot and killed in Staten Island on Wednesday night outside his home. After police arrived, 53-year-old Calli was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Arrests have been made. There's a new goat in charge, and he's taking over a tiny Vermont town, one hoof and bleed at a time. Lincoln the goat was voted in as mayor in Fairhaven. The town held a pet election as a fundraiser for the new playground. Lincoln was sworn in on Tuesday and immediately defecated on the floor. The town's plans to have a pet election every year as a civics lesson to children and a fundraiser.
That's amazing. Goats are my favorite animals, so I completely support this. They're finally getting the recognition that they need and
Goats
deserve.
are fantastic.
Exactly.
Bah.
Yeah. Bah. But moving on, we have a really great story of bravery. His home was only a mile and a half away, but it took a lot of time and ingenuity for a Colorado man to reach it. Bill Cooley says this video shows 17-year-old son skiing through Wednesday's bomb cyclone to rescue his dear old dad. According to Cooley, he began what is usually a 20-minute trip from his Colorado Springs job to his Monument home Wednesday when the storm hit. The interstate was closed, so Cooley spent 2 hours driving through the back roads to make it to a truck stop near his home. He stayed there, trapped, for about 4 hours, unable to leave. Cooley says his son finally strapped on cross-country skis and trekked to the gas station to bring him warm clothes and ski goggles. With the extra supplies, he was able to make the trek home.
Coming up, a shooting in Brazil.
And Ryan Jacoby has the latest with RMU Sports.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. So when I met Narnese, she started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
I'm ready for them. You don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
A funeral for several of the victims of the school shooting in Suzano, Brazil was held this Thursday. 2 former students, Gulthiam Tauk Monterio, age 17, and Henrique de Castro, age 25, entered the elementary school and opened fire. New footage also shows one of the assailants attacking students with an axe. 5 students and 2 staff members were killed, while 9 more people were injured. The shooters committed suicide after the massacre.
10 people are dead in Nigeria after a building collapsed, taking over 100 students in a school along with it. The building in Lagos contained a school on the top floor of the 4-story building. It is unknown how many people are trapped in the building, and it is not uncommon for the buildings to collapse in Nigeria. A resident reports that the building was cracking for a long time, and many of the victims were children.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said the United States will withdraw all staff from the U.S. Embassy in Venezuela. There have been power outages in the buildings for days, along with low food supplies and critical health services. Pompeo said their continued presence in the country is a constraint on U.S. policy.
Ethiopian Airlines black boxes have arrived in France to analyze potential reasons for the plane crash on Sunday. The boxes contain flight parameters as well as conversations from the cockpit. Some parts of the recording are damaged, which delays the results. There were less than a dozen laboratories capable of reading them. 50 countries have now grounded or banned the planes. A near miss caught on camera. A small plane careened across a busy roadway Tuesday and narrowly escaped hitting a vehicle. As Zareda Alman reports, it was all captured on dash cam video.
It's a clear afternoon, this vehicle driving along 16th Avenue, when suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a plane skids across the road, narrowly missing the hood and then crashing into the long grass across the street. Just a second later, and it could have been disastrous.
The part that that aircraft wasn't involved with a collision with a vehicle coming through here is quite amazing right now.
The crash happened just before 2 p.m. on the north side of Buttonville Airport in Markham. In the aftermath, you can see the damage to the nose and sides of this single-engine plane, a Cirrus SR-20. The privately owned plane was taking off from runway 33, which faces north towards 16th Avenue. The plane did not rise fast enough, crashing through a fence and then into 16th Avenue before coming to a stop across the street.
Obviously, there's a loss of control of the aircraft. I'm led to believe it's a male instructor and a female student in the aircraft. Thankfully, there were no injuries.
Both walked away unharmed, as did motorists on the road. York Region Police closed off 16th Avenue at the 404 to Woodbine. The off-ramp from the 404 to 16th was also shut down, causing a big backup along the highway. A crane was brought in to move the plane back over to the airport. The Transportation Safety Board has now taken over the investigation. A spokesperson for the TSB says the plane was doing a training maneuver called a touch and go.
So you come into land, you basically do a landing, and then you slow down and accelerate again and do a go, another takeoff. It's an easy way to get a bunch of takeoff and landings than if you're doing some training. Standard maneuver, but in this case, something went wrong.
The TSB says the instructor was in control of the plane at the time. They are trying to figure out why the plane did not gain altitude, leading to a very close call.
The small aircraft ended up lying in a ditch just north of Buttonville Airport. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada described the incident as a runway excursion.
Ryan Giacobbe has the latest for us in Robert Mort's Sports. Ryan, how are the teams doing?
Thanks, Andrew. I'm Ryan Giacobbe with an exciting week of sports. RMU Women's Basketball won the second game of the NEC tournament last night, defeating number 6 Mount St. Mary's 69-65 last night. Nekik Zibo played for 30 minutes with 9 field goals, 5 free throws, and 23 points scored. RMU scored 7 three-pointers from beyond the arc in the win. Robert Morris plays in the NEC championship game against Jess Kovac and number 4 St. Francis University Red Flash on Sunday at 2 p.m. After losing against Fairleigh Dickinson last Saturday in the NEC tournament, RMU men's basketball has accepted an invitation to the CollegeInsider.com tournament for the second time in program history and the first time since the 2012 season. As of right now, an opponent has not been announced yet, but it will be announced within the next few days. In the world of lacrosse, RMU men's lacrosse is upon conference season after losing against Marquette University 17-15. Tyson Gibson and Corson Keeley each scored 4 goals in the loss. Men's lacrosse opens up NEC play tomorrow in Fairfield, Connecticut against the Sacred Heart University Pioneers at 12 p.m. After the break, we'll talk about some more about sports, and Scott McDaniel has the weather, so stay tuned.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home, so when I met Narnese, she started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for them. Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back. I got some more sports to talk about. Army men's hockey swept the Holy Cross Crusaders in the first round of the AHA tournament last weekend. Army won 1-0 on Friday and 3-2 on Saturday. Nick Perkusic scored the 1 goal in Game 1. Alex Ange, Daniel Mantenuto, and Nick Lalonde each scored in Game 2 on Saturday. Robert Morris moves on to face the Bentley University Falcons in the AHA quarterfinals tonight and tomorrow at 7:05 p.m. If needed, a Game 3 will be played on Sunday at 7:05 p.m. All the games will be on the road at Bentley University. Army women's hockey had their season cut short after they lost in the CHA tournament last Friday, 6-2 against the Syracuse Orange. Caitlin Satterley and JC Gebhardt each scored in the loss. Army's final overall record is 16-4-6 with a conference record of 13-4-3. Army women's lacrosse blew past Gardner-Webb University on Wednesday, defeating them 20-8 in what was the largest win this year. Melanie Gandy scored an outstanding 6 goals to total 2 hat tricks in the win. Women's lacrosse plays at St. Bonaventure University tomorrow against the Bonnies at 1 p.m. Army softball continues to struggle this year after they got outscored 30-2. Wow. In the Louisville Slugger Invitational. Robert Morris plays Penn State on Wednesday in a doubleheader at 5 p.m. The surging Pittsburgh Penguins shut out the Buffalo Sabres 5-0 last night in a thriller. Phil Kessel, Brian Dumoulin, and Patrick Hornquist scored in the second period. Nick Bajustad and Jake Gunstel scored in the third period. The Pens host the St. Louis Blues tomorrow at 1 p.m. The Pittsburgh Pirates swerved past the Philadelphia Phillies yesterday, defeating them 11-2. Adam Frazier, Corey Dickerson, Colin Moran, Starling Marte, and Kevin Newman scored RBIs in the win. The Pirates play against the Tampa Bay Rays tonight at 6:05 p.m. Now let's go over to our awesome weather person, Scott McDaniel, with the weather. Scott, what's it like?
Thank you, Ryan. I am awesome. Welcome back to your RMU Weather Live Forecast. Today, we are looking at a high of 56 degrees with a low of 31, a humidity of 63%, and a precipitation chance of 0. You'll be looking at mostly cloudy. Looking at tomorrow's weather, we will have a high of 40 degrees and a low of 25 degrees. Definitely want to take a light jacket out today, or tomorrow, excuse me, with a humidity of 49% and a precipitation of 10%. Now, looking into your RMU Live 5-day forecast, we have partly cloudy conditions on Wednesday with a high of 41 degrees and a low of 25. Thursday will be mostly cloudy with a high of 41 and a low of 21. Friday will be, again, partly cloudy with a high of 43, 28. Both Saturday and Sunday will be mostly cloudy with a high of 50 and a low of 32 on Saturday, and Sunday having a high of 52 and that same low of 32. Thank you for joining us for this RMU Live Weather Forecast. I've been Scott McDaniel.
And thank you, Scott. Thank you for spending your time and your Friday afternoon with us. Be sure to tune in to all of our other shows. Mondays at 1 p.m., Wednesdays at 5 p.m., and Thursdays at 9 p.m., and Fridays at 12 p.m.
We will see you next week.